there's a very well-structured list of things you have to do to keep an organization going. And I said, well, but we're not all lawyers, and there has to be a role for those of us who aren't lawyers. No. I said, well, what about public education, and what about lobbying, and, all those kind of things.
So one of the wonderful things about the ACLU is that we have multiple tools to use. Folks often think of us from our past as a litigation shop, and it is certainly true that we sue people. We enjoy doing it. We sue people who need suing, and will continue to do so. But not everything is suable. Not everything is legislatable. Not everything is organizable. We have to use the tool that the moment demands. What's great about the ACLU is we have developed additional tools. We've added on to our litigation with communications and policy and organizing and political work. And all of those things mean that whatever the moment demands, we are able to rise to it.
When I came to the ACLU of Kansas, I had worked in a few different legal environments before that, but each of those environments had been one discrete mode of lawyering. When I came to the ACLU, it was the first time I learned how to integrate lots of different ways of attacking an issue and put them together into a cohesive plan that did not rely on one institution or one group of people to uphold rights.
I'm a lifelong Kansan, and I'm queer and trans, and I went to law school largely to do queer and trans advocacy in the state. And I just viewed the ACLU of Kansas as like a really great landing spot for me to be able to do that work because of our integrated advocacy model. It was super flexible for me to be engaged in the community, be engaged in a policy space, and then also identify like big needs that we had that we could take to the courts to address these issues in a systemic way.
If we end up in the situation where we've got something really bad that we need to confront, then we can go to the courts. The courts are not seen as the place of first resort. They're seen as a backstop. But that's really the function and role courts should have in our democracy.
It's not just comms. It's what the affiliate did in terms of integrated advocacy that also made it. It's, fighting on these different fronts until that front collapses under the weight of it.
We're never operating on one level only. There is a concerted effort to think about how do we get at this from an organizing perspective? How do we get at this from a policy advocacy perspective? How do we educate the public so that they can go advocate to their elected representatives to take a stand on these issues?
Our strongest litigation work comes from movement lawyering, comes from a meaningful engagement with the community and the development of those relationships, because on paper, you can pull any legal theory out and have a very strong, theory of a case of a rights issue to bring up. But if you don't have anyone to sort of stand up and say, yes, this affected me, then you don't really have a case. You just have a legal theory.
I think one of the things about integrated advocacy and litigation as part of it is that I think it made sure that a lot of our work was really driven by community concerns and community priorities. I think having such a strong, robust, and I think innovative field team, at least when I was here, really made that possible.
If you don't know what's happening with people in their real lives on the ground and different experiences, then you don't know what you're really trying to change. Because I think a lot of people will, particularly like in the academic world, will think they have this great solution, this theoretical solution, but that doesn't actually match up with what a community is actually experiencing. And in fact, it can be harmful.
We need that backing of litigation behind us to say we mean business about this. And it showed our young people that they're not out here windmilling and swinging by themselves. Not only were they learning how to connect and build with community and organize, they were also being taught how this litigation works and the steps that it takes to build a strong backing behind policies that you want to change.
And theoretically, the reason that the legal system was developed was to help us sort of impose order and make lives better for people who are living in a society together. And so I think that's why we're here, right? Is to ensure that law is not just an end in itself, but that it is actually used as a tool to make life better for folks.
We're a small affiliate. There is not a robust civil rights community here. We all have to kind of be on the same page and work together. And I think that so even when we weren't winning lawsuits, we were winning the war, right? And you can't do that when you're not integrated.
I think that organizing is so important because it's about bringing people into the cause and giving them not like being their voice, helping them develop their own voice to engage in the work.
I think it made all of our work so much more impactful.
No matter what the moment calls for, we have something that we can bring to bear there in partnership with others, in partnership with communities. We have something that can address it. The worst thing would be to have a moment, to have a deep and debilitating attack on our rights and be forced to sit on our hands because we just don't do that here. No, at the ACLU of Kansas, we do that here. No matter what it is, we do that here. We will rise to the moment and we will make sure that liberty is defended.